the Garnet and Old Show. No inside info, no contacts, no problem. I am one of your hosts, Big Papa East, and with me, as always, VC No Vince. How are you on this Thursday evening?
Couldn't be better, Ryan. This has been a great Thursday um, for a lot of reasons, and one of them is the weather's just been fantastic. We went through that stretch of really cold weather in Florida, like nutso cold weather. Kind of warmed up a little bit, it's starting to go down today again, but man, the weather today was absolutely phenomenal. And I am the type of person that it's the simple things for me, Ryan. I love the simple things. I love when things line up the right way. I love when the weather's nice. So yeah, today's been great. Welcome everybody to Garnet and Old. No inside info, no contacts, no problem. And as we are always willing to do as we start our show, let's talk about our sponsors, Ryan.
Well, one of them, Captain Black's Fishing Studios, is one of my favorite sponsors. And if you need charter fishing in the Panama City Beach area, you'll know where to go. It's Captain Black, and he has a brand new vessel. This brings his fleet up to 4, I believe.
3, I think.
3, and yeah, sailing out of the Panama City Beach. So if you want to do some deep sea fishing, uh, contact Captain Black. Now, John Black. Now, if you want to drink, go to the Palace Saloon because it's a
It's as simple
tradition
as
in Tallahassee.
it's as simple as that.
Yeah,
Really.
you don't really need much of a reason, right, to drink, right? I mean, I would hope not.
Well, right, and we're not saying you got to overdo it, but having a little drink every now and then is probably good for the soul. And the Palace currently is one of the only places where you can get this new vodka
Oh,
seltzer called AU. What's the matter,
like
Ryan?
for Auburn? Oh no, my literally, I think I lost connection, and then it came right back. So good.
I think I'm done with the ad read. So I just want to say, get to the Palace. You know what? Speaking of Tallahassee, I was just on the phone with my daughter, who is still living there, and she said, "You know about Halloween? Like Halloween is a big deal in Tallahassee. Halloween, they call it, for all you young folk. But apparently, they're trying to get the same thing going with Valentine's weekend. Maybe they're calling it Talentines. I'm not sure, but apparently there's a lot of fun stuff going on this weekend, including baseball season kicks off tomorrow.
Hmm, that's kind of cool, right?
It's very cool. And from what I've gathered, the Marching Chiefs will actually be there for opening day. I don't know if they're going to be in the stands the whole game, but I do know at least they will be doing pregame. So baseball band is back, first game of the season. And so that's exciting. I'm a big baseball fan, maybe not as big a fan as our buddy, Mr. Doug Rohan, but it's such a great sport. It's a great time to go hang out with your friends, to go watch the Noles play.
Yeah, I miss Doug. We haven't had a reason to bring him on. We ought to bring him on just during baseball season, talk baseball, since realignment talk is on hold indefinitely until it's time.
Hmm.
But yeah, I do miss the court filing talks with Mr. Doug Rohan.
Man,
Always a pleasure.
craziness, craziness.
But
Those times were crazy.
speaking of crazy times, what I didn't expect to happen is me scrolling through my feed this week and seeing Charlie Woods commits to Florida State, which is not where Tiger Woods went. A lot of times, these kind of celebrity, big time events, a lot of times they go the way their dad went. That's kind of the way it goes sometimes, but not this time. He chose a wonderful school at Florida State. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, of course, we all know Tiger Woods. I would hope so. But Charlie, like his father, is a phenom in the sport. Not like, oh, it's just the name, but he's not a good golfer. He is a preeminent golfer, much like his dad was at the same age, and probably going to be a top player in college golf almost immediately. So not only do you get the cachet of
The last
doesn't
name.
suck to have Tiger Woods around your campus, but you also get a heck of a golfer.
Yeah, and they're on quite the run here. The golf program signed the best amateur golfer in the country last year. The name's escaping me right now. But so in back to back recruiting here, we've got the best amateur in the country, high school kid, and then we got Tiger Woods' son coming. And when I was thinking about the whole idea of legacy and trying to, you're kind of as a kid, you're being brought up around the alma mater of your parents. I mean, I think about my girls, like they were going to Florida State games, when they were 3 months old, starting, and so it's almost like a disservice to them that they maybe don't think about other things beside that because that's
Hmm.
all they've known. And rightly so. I mean, I did the right thing as a dad. Like I drove
Hmm.
that home. But I think the thing that, helped in this scenario is Tiger lives in Florida, right? So that kid, they're not living in California,
Yeah, he's in
right? Where
Orlando.
so they wouldn't be, necessarily. Now he would have the money to go to every golf event for uh, Stanford
Stanford.
if they wanted to, but it's the home state school. The golf program is always well above average, almost elite. I mean, I don't follow it as much as some of you all do, but it is well known, it is well run, and the likes of the alumni from that have gone on to do great things in the pros on the tour. So when you're thinking Charlie Woods, um, where do I go to school? Do you go all the way to California to go to Stanford? Maybe that was a thought because that's where my dad went. But really, it makes so much sense if there is a preeminent golf program in your home state. Why would you not go there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the father son thing too. Like it does happen a lot. I think it happens more often with football parents. The dad and the son. Feel like other sports. It's how likely is it that the school, because other collegiate sports not named football, tend to ebb and flow across time more often, like on elite status. So if when Tiger went to Stanford, what is the Stanford program now compared to then? And in the sport of golf, that probably matters, but location matters. He was there already. It's like he was already around there. Now he lives in, he literally plays at the essentially his backyard in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, yeah, I'm glad he didn't choose, Florida, obviously, or
Mm-hmm.
any other Florida school, but it's going to be cool because inevitably at tournaments you're going to have Tiger Woods there, and that's going to draw Florida State attention to all the tournaments.
Yeah, and think about the
Donor,
all the
donor.
right. All this unfortunately always comes back to funding of the program and making sure the program is in a good way to be able to compete, not just with the talent you bring in, but with the funds in order to bring in the talent or to elevate the program in terms of facilities or technology or whatever. That doesn't hurt. I think about me as a dad. If my kid picked a school and they were all in on it and I had the means, I would do what I could to make sure that program had what it needed. And, Tiger has enough money. It's not like he doesn't. And he's not going to, he's not going to tout that he's giving all this money. I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm sure it's going to happen. And we may or may not ever know. And that's okay with me. But just having another uh, person that cares about the program, that has the means, man, that can go a super, super long way. And imagine, Ryan, if Charlie Woods ends up having like a phenomenal career here. wearing the logo,
Yeah,
right?
it'd be
Just
awesome.
from a and I don't know if I don't know if you ever watched Charlie play. Like I've watched him
I've seen
play
clips on
in some
YouTube.
stuff with his dad when they're doing dad son stuff. Just having Charlie Woods in the garnet and gold with the logo and his dad close by, man, what a marketing and just eyeball bonanza that's going to be.
One thing keep in mind is that the first time Tiger Woods himself donated to Stanford was he donated famously $100,000 at the time his level money than it would be considered today to his from his Ryder Cup in 2006 to the Stanford program. So listen, it never sucks to have successful golfers. Brooks Koepka has been a
Oh yeah.
big because every time they're playing, he gets brought up a lot of times. The commentators, when he was at Florida State and he's worn the hat a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't suck just to have your brand mentioned among elite players, and Charlie Woods seems destined to be a legitimate PGA player. He certainly has the genes to back it
Mm-hmm.
up. So I'm excited just to see what he can do, and then obviously the attention that having someone like Tiger Woods, be a supporter of now his son by proxy, the Garnet and Gold.
Yeah, and
Hopefully, maybe
just
Charlie is a Garnet and Old fan.
maybe he is. Wouldn't
Yeah,
wouldn't that be something? I would love to have Tiger Woods as a sponsor. So Tiger, if you're listening, if you're watching right now, I actually had a couple words with you many, many years ago here at the Players as you walked by close to the 17th. Kind of fist bumped you up. So if you remember that,
yeah,
which I'm sure you do, but for those of you that don't really pay much attention to it, I don't, some of the ideas or the thoughts maybe crossing your mind is, yeah, his last name is Woods. So, but is he really any good? He is really good.
yeah. It's not
He's really
it's not
good.
a name only situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, what amount of it's crazy that he has been so good with the amount of pressure that must be on a golfer named Woods. Um, we've seen plenty of athletes in football. You have their father's famous last name and not even be frame wise the same or skill wise the
Sure.
same, and that must be tough. But I feel like it must be even tougher to really be as elite as your dad in college, in high school, and in everything with all that pressure just continuing to mount because everyone just assumes, well, he's going to be in the PGA and he's going to be just like Tiger Woods. Like that's a lot of pressure. So man, kudos to him for having the right mentality, I guess. Just
Yeah. So I don't,
stay away from the Waffle House waitresses, Charlie.
I knew that was going to
Don't
come up.
follow your dad's footsteps.
So this is nowhere near the like, uh, ma- massiveness of what you just said, but you know, as a musician, as a person that went through the marching chiefs, and my wife went through the marching chiefs, and her sister went through the marching chiefs, and her sister's husband went through the chiefs, and her brother went through the chiefs, and her brother's wife went through the chiefs. So when my daughter ended up getting into the marching chiefs, I was very aware of any kind of feeling or pressure she may feel to live up to something
Yeah,
that's not like it's not real. Like whatever in her brain she was thinking she had to live up to was not an actual thing. But you don't know how kids' minds think, right? So and we obviously did not have the pressure of the public. The public doesn't care about that.
right.
But within the kid's mind, they feel it. So I'm sure that Charlie, as an athlete and being around the public his whole life, I'm sure he's got a great support system that has helped him separate, you know, what you do and what you work on and how well you perform has nothing to do with what your dad did.
Except for when it comes to drinking alcohol. I try to live up to my dad, and he never don't.
There are some things you want to live up to. Yeah, that's for sure.
By the way, tonight I'm sporting something a little different. I found it the other night. Have you ever gone through like a bag or something in a cabinet, and you're like, this should have been in the cabinet, not in the in this bag. So
Classic Kirkland,
Kirkland Old
classic old
Fashioned.
fashioned, like pre-mixed old fashioned. Look at that.
Yeah, Kirkland has their own ready to drink, and it's delicious.
Okay.
It
I am
tastes
not.
perfect.
Hey, I am not a snob when it comes to that stuff. I would definitely, if I have the time and the means, I want to make my own.
Hmm.
But there have been plenty of pre-mixed ones that I've had that have been phenomenal. So
Kirkland's
I
is
am
awesome.
I am not above that at all. I'm a common man.
A common man with a common plan. Uh, I, I'm going to have a common plan in about 3 weeks on that boat. Is what I'm going to have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I am looking forward to that. Just remind the people, Vince will be doing the show either solo or with a friend. While I'm on a cruise ship, I'll try to join if the connection allows it. Of course,
You will be
um,
clothed.
I will partially, um, but yes, I will do my absolute best to be clothed. Uh, Man, one thing I will say, Vince, is that you don't know how much you want to cruise until the timer goes under 30 days. There's something that's,
Yeah,
when you check in,
yeah,
especially like the one you and I went on, although fun, we knew, hey, it's going to be a older ship, 3 day, it's a short cruise, older ship. But when you're going on one of the baddies, one of the big boys
yep.
for 7 days, this is going to be where I unpack for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and you
You
start
really
getting
you
excited.
you're really kind of preparing to get off the grid, and you're really looking forward to all that leads up to that. The day
Yeah,
you go, the getting on the ship. It's like you're starting to feel the vibe. The women's basketball team right now is totally feeling the vibe. They are currently up on Boston College 60-48.
yeah,
So good for them. And we got our first chat of the evening, which I was going to
yeah. I was just
mention.
going to
If
put it
you're,
up there. Daniel Gorby, marching chiefs at the season opener tomorrow. Absolutely.
hmm yep. If you're watching right now, do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and grab the link and share it on X and share it on Facebook and share it wherever you can. Ryan and I are totally aware of the doldrums that follow after the football season, but people, there's good stuff to talk about still. So we're thankful that you all are here.
The only thing I'm not looking forward to on the cruise, last thing, Vince, is the drive to Miami. But what we're doing is, us and there's two other people we're going with too. We're going to do we're going to stop and stay at the Westin the night before in Fort Lauderdale.
Hmm, it's nice.
Shorten the drive by an hour. You only have an hour drive the next morning. Stay in a nice, comfortable hotel because I don't know if you've ever tried to stay in Miami. That the prices are like for a hotel, like I'm talking about like a Holiday Inn, are like $500 a night.
Yeah, I'm thinking of all the times we've cruised out of Miami. I don't know that we've ever stayed there. We may have stayed further up the coast,
Hmm.
but not directly in Miami, just to make sure we were closer to the port. But
Yeah,
you're
Fort
right. Yeah,
Lauderdale's
the
good.
hotels are crazily expensive, and if I had my druthers, as my southern folk would say, I would much rather cruise out of Port Canaveral.
Yeah, it's a shame some of the newer ships go to Miami for about 2 to 3 years first in the Isles of Miami.
Have you ever
But
watched the videos, Ryan, where these time lapse videos of the port there and ships coming in and out? It's really fun to watch. How many
it
ships will come
is
into port and dock, and then they'll all leave, especially on a sped up thing. It's kind of fun.
what's weird on if and I've tried to get you to sail on MSC or at least recommended it. What's interesting about MSC is their policy is always be the last out of port. So generally, on sail away day, you don't leave port until like 7 o'clock at night.
Hmm.
So you're just hanging out. You're having dinner at the steakhouse, and you're just sitting
Hanging
and
around.
hanging out in Port Miami. It gets dark, and then you feel the engines turn on. And you're like, okay, well, here we go. That's what we're
Here we
doing.
go.
All right, let's talk Mr. Crab Legs, our favorite man, which he owns it now. Which I love when he brings up the crab leg stuff. It's hilarious. Mr. Jameis Winston, bless his heart, a finally well appreciated by the entire country, as we always appreciated him locally. Um, Talking a little bit about NIL, the current state of college football. So kick us off, Vince.
Well, I think a lot of people have seen it, but I can't remember the show he was on, but he was starting to opine about the nature of the college game and NIL and these kids getting money that they've never had before. And Jameis framed it as really a blessing because it's really forcing these athletes to get instructed on real world things before they have the opportunity to get drafted in terms of like agents and lawyers and financial planning and all these other things. And I know there have been some schools that have had that kind of training for the kids uh, in the program, but I don't think it really hits home unless they have the dollars to put toward it, right? So now that they have that and they have access to all these things that they're going to have to deal with their whole life, Jameis was just talking about that and how things are so much different now. And I think off camera, well, they asked him on camera, or it came up. He said, "Yeah, I have donated um, to the school, and whatever they choose to do with that money, that's up to them." He was indicating like, I don't have any say in any, where the money goes. I donate to them, and I trust that they're going to do what needs to be done. But off camera, um, because I didn't see it on camera, I think off camera he had indicated that he had donated over $1 million to the school, to the program.
It's just nice. Anytime I hear Jameis talk anything about college football, I enjoy it. Um, but I think something that goes kind of in my mind unnoticed about NIL is the amount of players that make it to the NFL to get any kind of real money before all this NIL stuff was. I mean, you had to be the elite one of 1%, right, to make
Mhm.
it to the NFL. It was really like a lottery. You're like, maybe I'll make there someday.
Sure.
What the NIL has done, in my opinion, has spread out the wealth to more college level players, um, and given more players of maybe that wouldn't make it to the NFL, even if they did, maybe a 1 year deal, has given them more opportunity to earn money for them and their families, and to at least make a go of it financially, give them the head start, kickstart in life that they might need. The only thing I really hope, and I'm positive that all the programs around the country are doing this, but I do the number one thing I was worried about is like it's a lot of financial responsibility on a 18-year-old kid. Um, if you had given me 800K as an 18-year-old, it would have not have gone well as far as the spending habits.
Hmm.
So I
That's a
do
lot of
think
Chick-fil-A.
it's a lot of Chick-fil-A, and I just go back to thinking like, man, um, I can't imagine how I would respond. Now, we all like to think that, hey, show up and shut up and play your football. Like you should, you signed with this team and you should give it your all every week, right? Okay, but if you've lost 4 games in a row and you have $700,000 in your checking account, I mean, it would be easier to say, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show up and do what I need to do just to get by, and then I'll bounce next year to a team that's better. Like how do you fight that human nature? You know what I mean? So that's the important thing I see is like I hope that at least these kids are getting some help financially.
Yeah, I mean, it's like let's just equate it to the real world. And what I mean by the real world is like the non-fantasy athletic world where numbers are beyond what us normal people can fathom. Let's just say, hypothetically, you have a job and you are doing your job and you're doing it well, but then something else comes along and you're like, well, maybe I want to do this other thing, and you've kind of made that decision. Do you then stop doing the job that you're doing? So these are things that adults have a problem with. And you have to be a special kind of person. You have to have a special kind of ethic and a special kind of ownership and caring and belief in yourself and what you're all about to continue to produce, maybe when things aren't going the right way. So the money is right, Ryan, though. The money is, they deserve it. And you're right when you say, for all these kids that, don't really have a lot of chance to go to the pros, it may not be generational money that they get, but my goodness, if it's a head start, that's fantastic. If it's a head start in, getting enough money to not, maybe to have a down payment on a house or something like that. How many college students, when they leave college, have a nest egg that they, that they can rely on while they're looking for whatever kind of career or purpose they want to pursue?
Yeah, again, I'm going to stress, I don't know what the hell I would have done with that kind of money. Well, but there would have been signs. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of signs, Vince,
Ole Miss QB, Trinidad Chambliss, granted 6th year of eligibility. That's a sign.
Yeah, that's a sign of complete fair judgment by the NCAA, with all schools being the same.
Yeah.
Except Florida State. I did read the Mike Norvell comment about the quarterback room, and I do appreciate it. It does seem overall that it's going to be a true competition and not like, hey, one of these guys we brought in is kind of like leading the pack, and we're hoping the other guys step up their game. So going back to football, and I know it's February, but it's right around the corner. Spring football will be right. We'll be right back. It's going to be cool because there's not, in my opinion, there's probably not a leader in the house right now.
I don't think so. For everybody that just assumed Ashton Daniels was going to be, the leader because Gus Malzahn was the offense coordinator, that's kind of gone out the window, right? So, I love the fact that we really have no idea. I don't love it. Hold on. That's the wrong way to say it. But what we've been through in the last few years, I'm perfectly okay with the fact that we have a true quarterback competition. So all the people that wanted Sperry to get a chance, he's going to get it.
Yeah.
Ashton Daniels is going to get it. The other guys are going to have it. Captain John Black in the house.
Captain John Black. Shout him out, Vince. What do we got here?
Well, Chiefs and NIL, $20. Hey, John, there's got to be a way to make this happen, right? I'm not being facetious about this. I think there is a mechanism to open up a little bit of floodgates for NIL when it comes to the Chiefs. And I'd love to chat about maybe some possibilities on how that could work. But thank you for the super chat. Not only does Captain Black support the show for being a sponsor, but he's often sending us some chats here too, and we appreciate it, Captain John. I saw you, by the way, in the St. Andrew's Mardi Gras parade. I saw some pictures of you performing with what's the name of it? The marching band for the ice cream shot. Lofty Pursuits. He's a member of that group, and they performed at the parade out at St. Andrews, I think it was. So, saw those pictures.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I mean, I'm eternally I'm the eternal optimist, Vince. Lately, it's with the doldrums of the FSU program. I used to let things get me down, Vince, but I'm not going to do it anymore. So one of these quarterbacks is going to be a good quarterback. I want to tie a bow on that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I, I agree. Well, at the very least, one of them is going to be better than all the others. And I think there's
yeah,
talent there, right? I think there's talent there. So whoever wins that is going to earn it, and that's good. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Did you watch any of the interviews of any of the newcomers this week?
no, I didn't. What
I
about
did
you?
not either. I was hoping you did, but some of the posts I've seen is some really intelligent, impressive guys. Makai Williams, uh, or Trey Wisner, got a lot of positive pub, and I do intend to go back to watch those. I just haven't done it yet. Um, but yeah, so they brought some of the newcomers out to speak to the media this week. And so if you're wanting to get to know, for all of us that complain about year in and year out, we don't know who these players are because they keep swapping them out. Take a
Yeah.
little time and go watch those. That's the first inkling I get of getting to know them.
Any have you been? So here's the problem, Vince. Talking about things we've been watching. I'm not allowed to continue to watch how Night of the Seven Kingdoms because
Mm,
Kristen refuses to let me watch it without her, and she only wants to watch it when the season's complete.
yeah.
But what I have seen are the episode by episode scores, like the ratings on like Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes, and they've only gone higher every week, like 9.7, 9.8. And those kind of scores were usually reserved for like top tier Game of Thrones at its peak and like Breaking Bad and like those kind of shows are you usually get a lot of shows 8.2, 8.4. So Vince, without giving spoilers, living vicarious through you, it's really that good, huh?
Uh, I can't wait every week for the next one to come out. And last week, they actually came out with the newest episode on Thursday because they didn't want it to come out on Super Bowl Sunday. So actually, we're waiting way too long for this next one to come out. I'll say that the only thing that I don't like about the show is that the episodes are really short compared to a Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is usually an hour, a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. These are more in the 30 to 35 minute range, and they're grabbing you. And just when you're like, man, this is really getting good, then it's the end of the episode, and you're like, man, I gotta wait another week. But I will, without giving anything away, um, it is a really, really good show. It is well done. It's well acted. It is visually appealing. Uh, the underlying soundtrack is phenomenal, and the storyline is grabbing. This last episode is probably of the four. Is it three or four now? Can't remember, but it's the best one so far that I think it is. But they've all been great. So Ryan, you are
Yeah.
going to enjoy it, and one of the things you're going to enjoy more than me is because you're going to get them all at the same time. You're going to be able to binge
Yeah.
watch it.
Now I did watch the first episode. I mean, so I always because I want to see like the rule is Kristen needs to know if she's even interested. So we
Hmm.
watched the first episode and she enjoyed it and we laughed quite a few times. And she's like, okay, now I want to see it, but we can't keep watching.
Yeah.
Now, what didn't happen, I'm fine with this spoiler, not about the show, but really about the pre show, is in the first episode, they didn't hit the theme song with the intro. Does that come back in subsequent?
It's not as pronounced like you think
So
it
they
should
don't hit
be.
the whole
It's
theme.
not the same like that. Now, House of the Dragon does do that.
Yes, and I love it.
Night of the Seven Kingdoms, there's calls to that, but it's not your typical um, opening credits kind of thing. It's not like
Yeah,
that.
I have a hard rule on this, and it
I'm
pisses me
okay with
off
that though,
about
by the way,
TV shows.
because the episode's too short.
So, but they can add the 2 minutes. It's not like a TV spot that you have to fit in an ABC window. They can make it as long as they want. They want to add an intro. But uh, I have a problem. This is a bone to pick I have with many a TV shows who have an extended universe. Yes, we understand you're trying to do something different. It's not the usual. Maybe it's an expanded. Nothing puts any fan of a mainstay series or show or movie in the mood to get in that mindset to enjoy that world than just hitting the
The theme
hits.
song.
Play the hits. Star Wars drives me crazy with this. All the Star Wars offshoots, none of them use the Star Wars thing. Like none of them. They all have their own little like hum or little random sound effects. And I'm like, guys, if every week for every show, for every episode, regardless on what part of Star Wars it's in, if you hit the theme song and did a crawl about that episode that we're about to watch or about the previous episode and what's leading into this, it hypes you up. I watch on every Game of Thrones episode and every House of the Dragon episode. I've never skipped.
I never skip the theme.
It's so good. It gets you in the mood to keep watching it. So I encourage if there. We don't probably know anyone who does TV production, but
Not
I
yet.
almost think they try to outthink themselves. They try to say, "Well, this isn't that, and so we want to do our own thing." Do
No,
that with the show.
you gotta lean into
Play
it.
hits.
You got to lean into it. When something becomes,
Play Piano
cl-
Man. Yeah,
classic, like you're absolutely right. Imagine the Chiefs not doing Seminole Uprising at the beginning of of a a game. Imagine that.
yeah,
Like you got to get in the flow. You got to get in the
yeah.
vibe. And that theme song, Walking Dead was the same way.
Oh yeah.
They leaned into it
Yeah,
every
they did.
season. And the visuals were different, which is good because it keeps you tuned in to what's
And that's
going
fine.
on. And I'm good with that. But the music, man, the music is where it's at. The music gets you connected so you're ready to dive into that world. You are absolutely right, Ryan. One of the greatest things you've ever said.
The House of the Dragon, by the way, season one, visuals fine, not compelling, though the audio kept me engaged. The season two, they righted the passage. They made it more. They told the whole story of the death, the who died, who became
Yeah.
king, who got married, what happened to them, the horrible stuff, a bunch of dead people, blood stain. Like I like an intro that brings me back to nostalgia, but tells a new story visually. And which
Yeah.
that's what The Walking Dead did. They would always the theme song would never change, but then they would show locations and
Mm-hmm.
set pieces that you're about to experience in the coming season.
Yeah. And maybe some spoilers in there you don't know until you get into the season, which is really cool.
Yeah, like the fence burning or the
Right.
things on fire.
If you so if you're into that genre, you're into Game of Thrones, and a lot of people are, I'd encourage you to go watch. You can find it online. Go watch the video of the young actor that got the part of Egg. Go watch that video of him when they told him he got the part. It is really, really great.
Agreed. But I'm glad we agree on that because at the end of the day, what it really comes down to, Vince, is
We want to be entertained.
well, not only that, but a once in a lifetime or once in a generation piece of music that perfectly engulfs what you're trying to the world. And when it hits, because now there's plenty of shows I watch. Like a good example, we're rewatching Mad Men right now. I love Mad
Hmm.
Men. It takes place in the 50s and the 60s. The theme song for me,
You can skip it.
yeah, it's fine. There's been plenty of shows that like the original theme song. It's like, nope, I skip it after the first episode. If I keep watching, I'm going to skip it from that point on. But then there's certain shows. Dexter is one of them with a very catchy theme song. There's a lot of shows, but there's only what would you say, Vince? Once every 10 years, a show has like a man that hits just from a music standpoint, and you got to keep with it.
Yeah, because most shows are not spending enough intellectual capital to think about the opening credits and theme song as being part of the whole deal, right? So the ones that do that though, You're right. It
The
doesn't happen
Office.
often, but when it does,
Yeah.
I'm locked in. I don't skip it. I don't skip it. I don't skip the Game of Thrones one. I'd never skip the Walking Dead one.
The Office.
Um, The Office. I watched that. Now they crunched those. They made them shorter
Yeah, they go
as
duh right into it. Yeah.
the syndication goes on and on. But well, it's a lot of talk about TV shows. Um, but that's okay. I think you're gonna love it. I know you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it when you finally get to watch it. So
Well, we also have so much going on this year, like on movies that I'm excited about. I mean, Vince, we can talk whatever we want this time of year, at this point in
that's
the show.
true. FSU women's basketball up 72-61 right now.
A good example. There's nothing I'm more excited about the entire year. Nothing at all. Maybe not even Florida State football, as much as Avengers Doomsday with Robert Downey Jr. back in the fold. Like,
Yeah.
because I'm a fan of his and his work and his acting chops. I don't
Hmm.
care how they bring him back. They could have told me they're bringing him back as like a skeleton version of himself. But if I get that man on the screen acting Robert Downey Jr. style, I'm going to be loving it. So there's a lot I'm looking forward to this year, and it's just a good year for media, but it's a weird year. One thing I wanted to get your opinion on, and Vince, I don't know if we have any more Florida State topics tonight. We
Well,
could
we
save it
have
for the end.
just sports things. I want to talk about the Olympics a little bit, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you this week, and they've already said this, but they reiterated that Disney is starting a movie division, an animation division, specifically for producing AI films.
Hmm.
Uh, Tell me the world's going to be radically different in 3 years without telling me the world's going to be radically different. Because I don't know if you've seen it, the Seed Seek stuff on
I've
Twitter.
seen it. I've seen it.
It's finally 98.5% of the way there. Where if you had not told me, hey, this is actually Tom Cruise, and he's fighting someone on a rooftop, and poor choreography, but he is fighting someone, and I didn't know AI was the thing. It's to that point where now movie studios can just pay for the actors' likenesses and their voice and performance, and I think they still bring the actors in to do intimate scenes. I'm talking like close-ups, the talking, the because you can't. It's hard to recreate the human emotion, but
Hmm.
for large scale car
When you're
chases,
when the car or
explosions,
when the camera is panned back so
it's
you can't
over.
see all the nuance. Yeah.
Explosions, superhero movies, wide shots with things happening. Like it wasn't until this week with Seed Seek and now Claude's latest version with the like developer tools and the where I'm now like, oh, this is happening as fast as we potentially could have seen it. And a year ago, it was bunnies jumping on a trampoline, and you're like, this is
Right. Right.
this looks terrible. I can tell right away. And now I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Before
But
I
I'm one of
before I
those people. This is what I wanted to ask
okay.
about it.
Okay, before you ask, let me get to this because CJ HD8RI, best show on YouTube. Glad I could make a bit of a live show tonight. CJ, we're going off the deep rails here, or going off the deep end here a little bit because we're getting all the Noel stuff is kind of done. We're talking about other stuff
Yeah.
now, so hopefully that's okay with you. Go ahead, Brian.
I I I I'm on one side of this fence, so I want to hear your side first.
Oh, you want me to go first?
AI. No,
Okay.
I'm going to ask you though. I'm going to ask you first though. AI is a tool, like anything else, like any other tool that's ever come around, right?
Hmm.
When I hear like movie studios using it, or hell, even music. I mean, there's been some fun and odd,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's sometimes good. It's going to get there with music, that has every music song known to man in its database. Where I see the future of AI usage in media no different than if you're a crappy artist and you were making it manually in the past, you're going to have a crappy movie or crappy song. If you are a very good and very talented artist with your tools, you can make something really compelling and incredible that is just as good as quote unquote the real thing, whatever that means anymore.
Hmm.
So if you consider AI a tool and you consider the prompters or the input, the genesis of what you're seeing, because as you well know, Vince, you can't just type in a thing once and it gives you exactly what you wanted. That's not how it's ever going to work. You're going to have to specify, clarify, edits. No, not quite. That I see that as maybe someone might argue not as it's killing the humanity behind the project. However, I think the end result can be just as good as what we can produce today manually. It's just a different way of doing things. And I think you're going to end up with some movies with the bottom say this movie was made entirely by humans, and that'll be like the organic, like you went to the organic store and
Bespoke.
you shop organic. But do you see it as a lesser form of art if it's using AI as a tool with some really talented prompting?
Uh, I don't. Now, I have a big fight on my hands because um, my daughter is in this field, and she is very much wary of AI just from a standpoint of taking humans out of the loop um, is detrimental to people's creative processes, our ability to create. And what I have told her, and what I've tried to tell everybody in my family, and CJ, I'll tell you too, a lot of people are using AI to get rich. I would just say there's going to be no way to avoid it. Um, so find out what you love, like the passion, the thing you're passionate about, and find out how AI can help you accomplish that goal. Because then you get the best of both worlds. You get to do the things that you want to do and you love, and you will have one of the greatest tool, or well, the greatest tool thus far that's been created, helping you to bring your vision to life. And when you talk about um, having to tweak it, like it's never going to give you what you want the first time. I liken that to when I was a a band director. I would hand out music and think of the kids as like the AI, right?
Hmm.
I would hand out the music and we would play through it the first time, and it wasn't quite what I wanted. So I'd have to tweak it, and I'd have to prompt this section to do this and do that. And eventually, that thing that's in your brain, you can get it really, really close. And so I see it just as another mechanism for creativity. And I know a lot of people don't see it that way because they're looking at it in a very narrow view and like either the AI does it or the people do it. Now there are going to be some things that are like that. There's no doubt. But from a creativity standpoint, it's just another paintbrush.
Yeah.
Imagine all the people that complained, Ryan, that when electric guitars were made, how people complained about that because that's not real. That's not a real instrument.
Yeah.
That's not the way it should be done. That's
What do they call it? Not protected. If there's a word for it, like like protective of your realm kind of thing.
Yeah, and I'm not faulting people for having an apprehension about it because hey, there's been a lot of negative vibe about it. Everything that we've been told, everything that we've seen visually and heard in our lifetimes, Ryan, about the future, like an AI and robotics. I mean, think about it, like Terminator and all these movies that are dystopian in nature have painted technology as the end of things, the end of the world. I posit to you that what if it's the total opposite of that? Why can't it be that?
Yeah, I see it. No, I see like you said, people have a hard time seeing it's either AI created or person created when in reality it's the person that is using AI to create it.
Hmm.
And I see this every day because I have people that have come to me in companies I've worked for and people I know who I know are smart people said I tried that AI stuff and then it's I'm not impressed. And I know what they did. They used it as like a Google search engine.
Sure.
Like ask it some questions. Okay, yeah, I answered. And when they really have not fully explored how to prompt it, what you're trying to accomplish, all the connectors and the generation and the spreadsheet cleanups and the analysis. So they don't know the full breadth. They just think it's just you can talk to it and it will talk back. And I guess
And you
that's
and,
interesting.
and you can do that, by the way.
But
You can
so
talk
that
to it.
same concept as 80% of the world, it's like a glorified chat Google search.
Yeah. Right.
For the 20%, it's something much more than that, and for the 5% people who really dive into it, they can get something really magical out of it. It's gonna be the same thing with media creation, music creation, is the people who study, because there's gonna be studies now, there are degrees now that you can get in how to engage with it to get what you want, to get the picture in your head, the sound in your head, because the people who are gonna make the movies, the scenes, okay, they could say you're in a city and there's two people up and flying in the air, and one of them is super strong. One of them has lightning bolts, and it gives it to you, and you're like, oh, why is the city all red, and why is like
Hmm.
that guy's costume blue, and the other's lightning? It's like red. No, no, I'm thinking of like a dark tone, like a black and white kind of noir movie,
Hmm.
and the lightning is the only thing that's colored,
It
and
really
it's a
trains you, right?
yeah. AI has helped me
Yes. Know
how
how to
to
help it.
describe things to people. And even when I'm
Yes.
in meetings now, if I'm trying to get my point across, I'm like, "Oh, they're not understanding what I'm saying." So what I'm saying is this, but with this, and I just layer the things like it's helped me to retrain how I'm asking for stuff.
Absolutely. It's all about telling a story. And if you're interested in learning about how to tell a story better, look up my friend Karen Eber. Look her up. She wrote a book called The Perfect Story. She's a marching chief alum. She's a Nole. And you just need to read that book. Being able to tell a story is helpful to you, whether it's with your friends, in business, with your family, to AI. Like that is a skill that is lost on so many people. Um, so yeah, telling that story and AI helps you become a better AI user because when you try to get something done with it and it doesn't come out the way you want, it makes you think deeper about how you didn't give it the information it needed. Um, and that's the way I've learned. Hey Ryan, like you know this, and I think I brought this up on the show. This app that I wrote for how to find Christmas lights in your neighborhood. I've been thinking about that, Ryan, for 15 years, but I'm not a coder. And the barrier to entry on that, I wasn't willing to commit to because I've got a full-time job already, right? And I've got a family and I've got other interests. AI has allowed that creativity in me to be manifested. That is my idea. Did I write every individual bit of code? No. But how many things that are your idea in general do you do every little bit of piece of it from start to finish anyway? So that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like it's been demonized, um, and I'm sure. I mean, I'm not going to pretend there's not anything negative about it. There are some things that could be, like
Yeah, we don't need to
negative side of
generate
it.
friends into bikinis on Grok.
Right, right. And we don't need to generate false videos of celebrities and politicians saying things that they'd never said. It's like that whole misinformation thing is true. Like that's a negative thing that's going to come out of that. We all need to be better about scrutinizing the things that we see and hear. So that's true. There are negative things that can come out of it, but to just cast it all off, I would say find your AI frontier model of choice. I'm currently using Chat GPT 5.2 or 5.3 Codex. Ryan, I know you're using Claude quite a bit.
Claude and ChatGPT about 50-50.
Yeah, and so like just see what it can do. I mean, what's the harm? What's the harm?
But if you do it, I recommend to anyone, if you're going to try it for anything more than just, hey, ask it like what time it is, what's the weather like tomorrow. If you're going to try it for anything more, do a month subscription, $20 model, and get the latest models to really
Just try it for a month.
see. And then my best recommendation is take some kind of data set, spreadsheet, contract, even if it's something old, like maybe you got a contract, a lawsuit 7 years ago, and you're like, I can never understand anything like this. And you plug it in and you say, tell me the weaknesses and where I could kind of poke holes in this and encounter. And it'll recommend things that you would have never known how to do. And so
Yeah.
like those kind of things, hey, Q3 financial analysis of of my Fidelity account and how I can reinvest this.
Right.
I want to be a little bit more aggressive. Where should I put it? How should I like it does really well with that kind of stuff. So I challenge people. But no, Vince, I know you want to talk Olympics real quick.
Well, just the idea of it. The fact that it started, that it's going on. I'm just curious. I know we don't have a ton of people watching live here tonight, but the Olympics are a big deal for me and our family. Like we've always tuned in every season, every winter, every summer. And it's a time for us. I think of it as like a family time, like how we all tune in to watch it. And I'm just curious if other people have that same kind of vibe. Um,
Yeah.
Let us know about it. I was the whole story about Lindsey Vonn, like messing up her knee prior to, and yet
Yeah,
still
that was
deciding to
nasty.
do it. And she made practice runs with no problem. And then I mean, those kind of stories are like, those kind of stories just transcend the whole Olympic spirit of it all. Um, it's just, I'm just curious for our viewers, how you guys view the Olympics in terms of like how it fits into your life. So
Can we agree Winter Olympics are way better than the summer?
it depends on what I'm in the mood for, actually.
Bobsled, it's awesome.
Yeah,
The
cool runnings,
what's
luge.
the disc one where they brush the ice?
Oh, curling, ridiculous sport.
It's awesome.
It's ridiculous, and it's so fun to watch. And then there's a new sport this season called skimo. You got to look that up. As if I didn't feel like older than I do, as if I didn't feel like I could feel older than I do, watching these people do things like skimo is
Mhm.
unbelievable. So whether it's the hockey, figure skating, um, I watched the snowboarding half pipe last night. That was fun. It's just a great time to come together and kind of cheer on the whole idea of it. And I'm particularly proud of my heritage, the Italians doing so well thus far with the medals.
Yes, yes. I like the Olympics when they're on. It's not so I like the opening ceremonies. I think that's like that. Every American I hope will enjoy that. But then I like when I just go out to a restaurant or go to eat and like the TV's in the sports bar and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to watch this curling.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy. It's like that's on.
It's like us on the cruise ship watching cricket.
Yeah, that was not so much, but that was the only channel. In fact, I've never seen such limited channels in the room either. Two movie channels, pretty much. That was it. But you watched some good movies on that ship, Vince. You saw some bangers in your room that
I,
trip. You know,
I did. There were some good movies on in the
I'm
room.
surprised you can see it. Now, the good thing about what they need to do on that ship is the TV. It's about 24 inches. If you could just move it back a little bit to give yourself a little bit more room in the cabin, that would have
For
been
office
awesome.
reference. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
What a great show,
Uh,
though. the doldrums of the summer. I appreciate for those who did comment and like and do all the things. Also love our sponsors, Captain John Black, who was so generous in the chat. Thank you for being a sponsor of the Garnet and Old Show. Also, thank you to the Palace Saloon, a tradition. I always want to say a tradition unlike any other. Like
That's fine.
But yes, the Palace. I will be visiting you this fall, and the seats after the Palace might be a bit different on the games I go to this year. Uh,
Sure.
uh, maybe I'll buy the Palace. I don't know.
Maybe. Women's team up 82-74 with 48 seconds left in the game. That game, since there's 48 seconds left, it'll be over in an hour. But we thank everybody for tuning in. No inside info, no context, no problem. Plenty of thoughts on AI. Maybe we need to have an AI show, Ryan, where we walk people through how to prompt things from a basic level. That'd be kind of fun. I think people would enjoy that
I
if you've
want
never done it
to do a
before.
show where you prompt it for an image and it doesn't get you what you want, no matter what, or a show in which you just watch me ask for something random and the personalization keeps referring to me. Oh, that's interesting because you're this job from 7 years ago. And I'm like,
Right.
I've told you, I
Yeah.
haven't had that job in 7 years. Stop
Yeah.
saying that.
Yeah. So it's just as frustrating as having like an apprentice, like a talented apprentice that just doesn't know everything or what to do yet. But the Chiefs know what to do. Send Chiefs all the damn time. We're sending them to the first baseball game tomorrow. They will be there for the pregame at least. So if you're in Tally, go to the game tomorrow. You'll catch the Chiefs as well as some fantastic baseball.
It's been a good night, everyone. I appreciate you all for watching. And as always, go Noles and screw ESPN eternally. I'm going to throw that one out there for a little bit.
Yeah, go Noles. We'll see everybody
Have
soon.
a, have a great night, guys. See ya.